Welcome to the Fertility Coaching Mastery Podcast. I'm Dr. Kela Smith, fertility and hormone expert and founder of the Hormone Puzzle Society. I help wellness professionals like chiropractors, acupuncturists, doulas, nutritionists, personal trainers, and health coaches integrate fertility coaching into their work and build thriving, purpose-driven practices. I also work with beginners who are ready to step into this work and use their own painful story for their purpose. If you're ready to confidently support fertility clients, attract aligned clients, and grow a business that truly makes an impact, you're in the right place. Now let's dive in. On today's show, we have Anne-Claire Bihan. She is a spirit baby medium, fertility coach, and naturopath who guides women through an integrative mind, body, energy, spirit approach to fertility by honoring the physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual aspects of the fertility journey. She is best known for helping women connect with their spirit babies while reconnecting with their intuition, inner wisdom, and feminine essence. She weaves together intuitive channeling, emotional clearing, and energetic alignment to help women reconnect with their bodies, their spirit babies, and their unique path to motherhood. Through this work, she empowers women to move from fear and uncertainty to trust and inner alignment, creating inner conditions in which conception becomes possible. And on today's show, we are going to talk to Anne-Claire about building a fertility business through not only strategy, but intuition and alignment. Now, let's welcome Anne-Claire to the podcast. Hey, Anne-Claire, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Kela. I'm so glad to be here.
Me too. I'm really excited. I love talking about business. And so this is going to be a great show. I just want to pick your brain about how you built such an amazing practice.
Thank you.
So let's just dive right in. Tell us a little bit more about you and how you got into this work.
Yeah. So, there's so many different layers to it because I studied in medical school in midwifery and then I quit everything. 5 years later, got into naturopathy and then was traveling around and I just started with spirit baby. So I got pregnant in 2019 and really have dreams from my baby that was telling me that I needed to help women, to show them that they could connect with their own baby, that it was a thing before they come. And because we miscarried, what's happened is it took me there even faster than I thought because I wanted to honor the life of that baby. So I started to just do spirit baby session. And from there, it's really grew. Then now I'm incorporating my naturopathic practice, a lot of different modalities to support women on their fertility journey.
I love that. And we talk a lot about spirit baby communication on my Hormone Puzzle podcast, and we're actually going to have you on that as well. So anybody listening that's interested in spirit baby and just getting pregnant with alignments, definitely check out that show. I love that. Well, let's talk about, you talk a lot about building your business, how you have to have strategy, but you also have to have energetic alignment. And so talk to us about that. What do you mean by that? And I completely agree. I want to say that before you even get started. So tell me your take on that.
Yeah. So I just often when we think of creating a business and if you do research online or everything, everyone will talk to you about, your niche and the marketing and the communication, all the tools and the steps, basically, all the things that are very practical. But from my experience, I noticed that you can have that in place and nail it and still have a business that is not working properly and not growing because you also need to make sure that the decision you make and the direction you're taking feels right to you and is aligned with your value, is aligned with what you want to put out there, and you're not doing it just to have a successful business. So that's kind of it's always finding the balance between following that inner voice, having a structure in place, and also intuitively know that there is something bigger. And the way I like to see it, with fertility clients is, especially also working with spirit babies, is I like to be asking the spirit babies in meditation to be how about you guide the woman that needs my help to me? And the story that I got on how women find me, there is no marketing tactic around that. It doesn't mean I don't have any marketing things in place, but what's very interesting is that sometimes we think it's going to come a certain way and it ends up coming completely different ways.
I love that. And I talk a lot about that too. And I think your intuition plays such a role in your health, your overall way of being, but also in your business. You have to use a little bit of intuition to know which direction to go. And then when you're putting that energy out, I feel the same. I feel like my clients start to come to me and it's like the perfect people. And it's because I'm using my intuition and that energetic pull to guide them to me. So I love that you say that. And you talk also about how you can't really grow or build a business without your nervous system being able to handle it. You have to have that inner capacity to grow and to scale. And so talk to us about that. How does the nervous system play into building your business? Because I think a lot of people wouldn't even think that that would be a piece of it, but it is.
Yeah, I think there is like a different layer. Like if let's say just talk about finance, we all think obviously everyone's like, oh yeah, well, I'd love to make a lot of money. And ultimately that's what we think, but we don't always think of like, what does it mean to have more money? And it brings a lot of different layers. First, there is money. There is a lot of, tied to money based on like where you're coming from, based on your family, based on your belief, based on like so many different things. Like, yeah, it's a relationship that we have with money, but based on like where you're coming from and what those beliefs are, you might need more safety for it to welcome it. And also what's happened is that growing and having more money, that means there is often more people that are coming in your space. So you need to be able to be in a space where you can welcome them. You have a structure in place that can welcome them, but your system can also feel strong enough to handle everything that is coming. And because, when we talk about burnout, it's kind of goes with like the nervous system, like breaking down basically. And sometimes if we try to extend ourselves too much without being ready for it, then that's what can happen.
And I completely agree with that. I talk a lot about money blocks and being a money magnet within my Fertility Coach certification program. And I feel like so many people have these, they've been built in childhood, these beliefs around money, and you will block yourself if you don't learn to identify those beliefs and release them and create new ones. So I love that you said that. And I want to talk a little bit more too about the intuition piece, because how do we know if what we're feeling is actually our intuition, and like, how do we trust that? And how do we know if this is just like our ego or, some crazy thought or our insecurities coming up and it's not actually our intuition? And then we trust that way and we end up making a bad business decision. And then we're like, we're scorned. It's almost like you touch a hot stove, you're not going to do that again. So talk to us about that piece of it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's like, how do you identify your mind or your ego versus the intuition? I guess first you have to get to know kind of like who you were when you were younger. And because some people are more intuitive than others by nature. So if some people were already connected to that, then we want to see how can I reintroduce this in my life. And often what I say, the way I find the best way to start to trust your intuition again is to just playing with it in your daily life by just following, okay, should I go, you want to call someone, you have a hint of calling someone, just do it. You feel like going in that shop, you don't know why, you feel like doing this, and start following it because there is no implication, like there is nothing to lose. Like, if it's like making an investment in your business, for example, or fertility decision for clients, there is tied to it, so it's a little bit more difficult sometimes to start trusting your intuition in that. So often say to trust it practice it in your everyday life, to follow that inner guidance. And the more you leave space for it, the more you start to know what it feels like, what it is for you. And then it's easier when it comes to your business. Let's say you meet someone, so you go to like a co-working event, or someone reach out to you and they want to collaborate with you. If you've practiced in your everyday life to just check in, how does that person make you feel? How do I feel in that environment? Then you've noticed a little bit the difference of what's recharge you, what makes you feel good, what is positive. Because often the intuition is guiding you something that feels not always, but that feels good for you. So if you practice in your everyday life, you see people and how do I feel after seeing them? Then when you have someone that come in your business to collaborate, you can get a sense, you have a chat with them and you can get a sense, how do I feel about that person? And it's not about judging. It's more about sometimes you just feel things and then kind of like go with your gut. That's what we say.
Yeah.
So I would say it's more, there's no rules about like, this gonna be your intuition or that's your mind. It's like black or white. It's more like over time through building and trusting it with little thing in your daily life that then you give it more space, and then in your business you can do the same. And ultimately sometimes you just have to take a little leap of faith. You have this coming, you don't know why. It's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do it and see. And like in all business, sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail, and then you learn from it either way.
Exactly. I love that. And I think too, you made a good point. You focus and start using your intuition for things that don't have as much gravity. And then, if that doesn't work out, you're like, okay, that didn't really matter. But as you learn to trust it, then you can make bigger decisions. And I think too, once you have learned how to do that, trusting that and making those decisions, trying not to second guess it and being okay with the outcome, because like you said, you're going to learn from it either way. And sometimes it works well. And sometimes you're like, maybe I should have done that a little differently, but you still learn. So I love that. So talk to us about marketing strategies around this piece. We have a lot of, I'm sure you get inundated with marketing, and I do as well, but talk to us about how we start to trust our intuition when we're doing things like marketing and social media. And instead of getting so stuck on the strategy piece, let's pull the intuition in.
Yeah, this one is a big one because, I didn't know anything about marketing when I started my business. I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't like it at all. And then at some point I was like, you know what? I really don't like it. Let's dive into it. And I really learned about it. For me, I was starting from scratch. So I really had to understand, what it means, what is the philosophy behind it. And the reality is that there is so many things that can be put in place, so many. And at some point I was like, not trying to do them all, but trying to reach the point where I was going to be doing them all. And it is not possible. I even had a marketing consultant, and she said basically that's her job. She does that full time, but we are helping clients. We're doing so many other things. So it needs to be, and unless you can hire someone, which is an option, but even that you need to identify which one feels right for you. Some people will have a podcast and it does amazing, and all their clients come from podcasts. But does that mean you need to do a podcast? Maybe, maybe not. So I'd say I always suggest to choose one or two and not to try to do them all. And then once you're doing them, see how it feels, but see how people react to it as well and who you are attracted. For example, my business, I've been doing it for 7 years and I don't use social media. I haven't used social media. I'm probably going to change that, but we think, you have to be on social media nowadays to have clients and grow your business. No, you don't.
And I love that. And I think it's finding that thing that is going to work for you. And again, using your intuition to lean into that and say, should I use social media? Maybe, maybe not. Should I do a podcast? Maybe, maybe not. But one thing I do want to point out is I find a lot of coaches, myself included in the beginning, and I'm sure you can relate to this, but we have shiny object syndrome where we always want that new shiny thing and we're kind of jumping around to different things to see if it'll work. But I really think that you need to stick with one or two things, like you said, and see if that works. Use your intuition, pick those one or two things, and then stick with it for, I would say, 6 months. And then in 6 months, if it's not working, then we can reevaluate and change. Would you?
Yeah, there's definitely. There is a coach that I followed, and she said one day, I remember she said, you choose one offer, one path to that offer, and then you stick to that for at least 6 months. And that really changed my life because then it simplified because we tend to be like, have so many ideas, even like what we're going to offer. The problem is if you have, let's say, even 5 offers, you have to market those 5 offers. And then you have to explain what the difference to people. And it just become very confusing. And I found I was doing that and it was limiting my growth. And at some point I was like, okay, let's focus on one. It doesn't mean the other one now I'm using then some of them to bridge into the main one.
Yes.
But at least I know what is the main path. And also same with marketing is like, okay, what is my main way to come? And I focus on that. And then, okay, maybe I can add one piece to this. But I find the more complex it is, the more difficult it is to grow. And even some coach, they say reach 1 million with that one offer, and then you can like do more. Exactly. I'm not there.
Yeah, I'm not there yet either, but that's the goal. And I think too, sometimes the patients and clients, they get decision fatigue, where if there's too many things to, if you're like, I have 5 offers, they just freeze and they don't pick anything. And then you lose that potential customer, client or patient. So I think definitely pick one thing or 2 things, and those are your offers, and you have one way to get into that. And then you stick with that for 6 months to see if it works. Mm-hmm. So I love that. And you talk a lot about, there's so many things to focus on. Practitioners a lot of times will get overwhelmed and they don't really know where to focus, and they're doing all these things. They're not getting clients. And you tell these, let's pause and focus on this one thing. What is that one thing?
To focus on?
Yes.
That I would do? Oh,
yeah. Like if you have a practitioner that's overwhelmed and they're trying to do 100 different things, and
okay.
Just let's pause and let's focus on this one thing that's going to move the needle the most. What is that one thing that you would tell them?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big advocate to pausing. I'm a big, pause everything, zoom out, take a journal and write, everything. I usually everything you have in your mind, put it on paper like this, we put it aside, and now let's review and let's try to find, there is also this thing that say focus on what's bring you 80% of, the people or the income, that one thing, because usually we do a lot, but there is 1 or 2 things that really bring you everything. So I won't tell you just do that one thing, but what I do is reflect on what is so far bringing you the most of things, or what is the thing that you've been called to do or attracted to explore if you haven't studied anything, or what is the one that is already working well and maybe you should just focus a little bit more on.
Yeah. On
That's probably what I would do.
I love that. And you talk about how your business has grown since your definition of success has changed since your business has grown. So tell us what your definition of success is now.
Yeah. I find to always think business of a number. I mean, not always, but a lot. For me, I've always seen it very differently. I'm what is the life I want and the lifestyle that I want? And I always put that first. So it's okay, I don't want to work evening. I don't want to work weekend. At least I take 2 months off per year. I know it's crazy, but at least I do that. Every day I go for a walk, either for a walk in nature. I do things for myself. I want to go dancing every Wednesday, and I have children and I want to be present with them. And when I'm with them, I don't want to be doing the house, grocery and all of that. So as you can see, so I put all the moving pieces on paper, and I'm what is the reality? How much time do I have left? And then also what are our daily expense? How much does our life cost? But what are all the other things that I want to go to as I want to put money aside for travel. I want to invest in going on retreat. I want to invest in charity. I want to put money aside for my children. So all of that. So I looked at, okay, what would that number that I need is? What is that number my next number that I want to go up? And what time do I have? And then with this, that's what for me the success is. It's if I manage to have my business in a way that I can still do all the things that I want that bring me joy and it's creating the life I want, while still having that income that allow me to have like safety and to grow and do more. I would say that would be my definition.
I love that. And I completely agree. I think that's the beauty of being a fertility coach and having a fertility business is that you get to choose.
Yeah.
You can build a huge practice that makes, the sky's the limit on your income potential, or you can say, I want a medium practice and I only want to work with this many clients and this is how much money I need to make. And you can design that. So I love that you say that. I do the same thing. I don't work weekends. I don't work in the evening, and that's my prerogative. I could probably have a bigger business, but I don't want that. I have kids and I have a family, and, I want to still practice what I preach and go outside and exercise and do all the things. And so I love that you say that. I think that's the beauty of owning your own business and being an entrepreneur and being in the fertility space.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more practical tips for building our business. But before we do that, say somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, I want to be a fertility coach, or maybe they already have a wellness business, but they want to add fertility coaching to that practice. And they're listening to this thinking, well, I don't really even know where to start with that. What is one piece you want them to take away from today? If they don't hear anything else, what's the one piece of advice you would say to that person?
Oh, like the one thing that came when you said it, I don't know if it's going to answer the question, is to probably identify what is your little thing that makes you different, that will make you, because especially nowadays, there is more and more fertility coach and it's growing a lot, which is good and it's needed, but there is a lot. So what is the thing that maybe you can add from what you were doing or that sets you apart that you could include and use it in your marketing, in the way you communicate your offers and everything, because you want to be different. You want to stand out. And I think that would probably what I would, because of how the fertility market is becoming, that's probably what I would suggest to do. Yeah. To identify that little thing.
I love that. And I think, there it is. It's growing so much. I mean, I've been in this space almost 10 years and it's changed and there's a lot more coaches now, but there's also so many more people that need our help. And so I love that. There's only one of you be you, and the people that are meant to work with you will be drawn to that. So I love that you say that. Amazing. Well, we're going to take a short break. So stay with us. We'll be right back and we're going to hear more practical tips from Anna Claire. So we'll be back. Before we continue, I want to share a resource with you. If you're a beginner or a wellness professional who feels called to support fertility, but you're not quite sure how to actually turn that into a coaching offer or a business, well, I've created something to help you. It's called Fertility Coaching Roadmap. Inside, I walk you through step-by-step how to integrate fertility coaching into your current practice, transition into a virtual or online business, attract and enroll aligned clients, and create real lasting results. If you're ready for more clarity and direction, you can download the free roadmap in the show notes. Now let's get back to the episode. Hey, Anna Claire, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you want to redo it?
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Let's cut this.
Yeah. Okay. My son is screaming.
Hey, Anna Claire, welcome back.
Happy to be back.
So let's talk practical tips. You gave us a lot in the first half, but maybe 3 to 5 things that you would do if you were starting your business today.
Starting from scratch?
Yes.
It's funny because when I started, the one thing that I've been told is like, find your niche. And I hated that question and it blocked me in moving forwards. So it's a mix of, if you are clear about like who you want to serve, what's your client's value, like maybe what age group, what specific challenge they have, then maybe identify that. If you're not clear on your niche, I would suggest like just get started. I'd say that's probably the one that's often we get stuck. We want everything perfect. And I said maybe just get started through either, an exchange with people, even not necessarily monetary, but to identify what do I enjoy, why am I good at, what's working. Definitely will be my first things that I would go with. Then, we were talking about that one offer. The reality is that it's very difficult to find it if you haven't get to know the people and really identify, because you can think from your mind which one you think you're going to like and what you're going to enjoy, but this evolved. There is no way I would have known 7 years ago that I would want, what I'm doing right now, there is no way I could have put it on paper. Yeah. So it's try to maybe put together an idea of what will be your offer and try to test it, but be open that it's going to evolve based on what you're learning from the people, what you see works and what's not working. So it's always a mix of have a frame, but don't get stuck in it. It's really important to take small actions.
Yeah. And
then choose, one channel of communication, which one does speak to you the most? Do you want to go on social media? Do you want to do pay ad? Do you want to run an online event? Is it being a host at podcast? The mistake I see often is people, they create everything behind the scenes. So they've created their website, they have their offer, and then they think, oh my God, I'm ready. Now it's going to start. The problem is often it doesn't. So you almost want to do that in parallel to each other. It's you already want to be seen and go out there while you're creating the things, because the perfect website is not going to bring you the clients, unfortunately. It is needed, but it's not going to do it, do everything. So let go of perfection, start taking steps, identify a little bit what you'd like to do and start going out there and find a way, how would people find you?
I love that. And I completely agree. So you said, kind of pick a niche, even though you don't like that word. We do need to focus somewhere, find your offer and just get started. I say that a lot because I see a lot of our students will hold themselves back because everything has to be perfect. I'm like, just jump in the pool, just get started. You can fix it, as you go, but don't hold yourself back. So I love that you said that. And then definitely one channel of communication. I think pick one social media platform. Don't try to do everything at once. When you first get started, you can build as you grow. So I love that you say that.
And even the offer, we tend to think, I need to have to also create content. But no, you can have the outline, then find the people, and then you create it with them as you go for the first one.
Yeah.
But I think it's not, we all get stuck in the perfection and want to have everything done, but I wouldn't do that. I don't know if I would listen to that advice, but that's the advice I would give to myself.
Exactly. And sometimes we talk a lot about something called the critter brain, which is that little voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough. And sometimes that perfectionism is that critter brain saying, holding you back because you think you're not good enough. And you are good enough. People need you. So you just have to put yourself out there. So I love that you say that. Amazing. Well, talk to us about a time in your business where maybe you used your intuition and it did not work out. And if that has happened to you, I know it's happened to me. And tell us how you pivoted from that.
Oh.
Or if it hasn't happened to you, you've been very lucky. So you can say, I'm good.
No. I mean, I've made definitely made decision where things didn't work out. But usually my intuition guides me quite well. So it's probably wasn't my intuition. It probably was more. I wouldn't say nothing. Nothing come to mind right now. I'm not saying it hasn't happened because for sure it has, but nothing is coming to mind right now.
Yeah. And that's okay. Yes.
Yeah.
You can't, sometimes you are blocking.
And then I'm going to come out of the call and then I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that's it.
Right. Well, I'll tell a short little story about how, so I used my intuition in the very beginning. I thought I needed a business coach. And so I hired this fancy business coach and, she turned out to not be so fancy and so wonderful. And it was a big financial decision and a big, it was a bad mistake. And so,
oh no.
So I would say vet anybody that you hire very well, look at their reviews, reviews, look at their, if you have other people that have worked with them, definitely look at that, because that was tough. So, but I never made that mistake again.
Oh
10
my
years
God.
later. Yeah.
What do you think, made it, like, do you feel what's misled you?
So, well, not to get into the details, but
Yeah.
I was just promised a lot of things, and it turned out that that this person was a scammer, and so she was lying about a lot of what she told me, and I spent a lot of money with her. So, yeah, my lesson in that was always vet your people extremely well and know who you're hiring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good advice. Yeah.
Yes. And we talked in the first half about using our intuition and trusting that. And you talk about how to build a business that aligns with your values. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I know we all want big businesses and we want a certain amount of income, but that has to align with our values and what we think is sacred. So talk to us about how you do that, how you build a business that still reflects your values.
Yeah, definitely. I think first I identify, okay, what's important for me, like what I think that are almost like non-negotiable. Maybe because there is some type of people, maybe they will have a lot of money and they would pay to work with me, but they will think that they will do or view things that, for example, concrete example, if someone believes the only way for them is, like they only believe in like the science part and they want someone like very practical, which needs to be medical and all of that, it doesn't align with how I see things. So they might have the money to invest, they might benefit from what I do, but it's not going to work. Like it's not going to be enjoyable for them because we're not going to speak the same language, and it's not going to be enjoyable for me. So if in my communication, I make it like I'm open to everyone, then I will attract people that we're not going to enjoy working to each other. On the other hand, I like people, that are interested into alternative way of living, like into like movement, outdoor, like all of these type of things. And then we have a lot in common even outside of what I'm supporting them on the fertility journey. So it's more come for the value of like what type of people I'm going to attract, and that we can both enjoy working together.
Yeah.
And same, I do have a summit, and the sponsor that I have for the summit, I need to believe in their product. I need to believe in what they do. I don't want to be, and you don't have to, but that's me. I can't be showing up a company or someone that I don't enjoy, and I would either not use their product or advise it to anyone.
Yeah. And I think that's so hard in the beginning, talking about the clients, because you're trying to build your business and you really want to work with everybody, and you're like, they're going to pay me. But if it's not aligned, I have experienced that where it just is not a fit. And so then you end up draining your energy, you're draining your brain power and all of these things. And it's just not worth it. And I always think of this, if I'm working with this person who's not in alignment with me, then that's taking a spot from somebody who might be in alignment that could fill that spot. And so I completely agree with that. You really have to interview your clients and patients and learn, are you guys a fit? And is this person in alignment with your values? So I love that you say that.
And on top of that, if you want to start doing like small group or group, you want a good cohesion in the group. Like we can feel each other. Like we know if we enter in a room and there is a group or we're part of a group, we can feel everyone's energy. Yeah. So it's a lot nicer if everyone is like on the same wavelengths and do have some value in common. Like for example, I know more and more practitioners are leading with, being Christian, and they really put it out there. And in a way, I think it's quite clever because then they all come together. Yeah. They all have the same religious belief that bring them together on like the other topic, but they have an underlying where they're going to speak the same language and things. And that's a big example. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I think this is get you closer to the people and you trust easier as well. So if you trust the person you're working with and you feel connected to them outside of what you do, then they're going to get result more as well, because they're going to follow what you're doing more. They're going to ask you more, like they're going to be sharing about their journey a lot more than if those connections don't happen.
Sure. And I completely agree with that. And I will say in the beginning, I wasn't as good with this as I am now, because I did take some people that I was like, well, I just need the client. And it turned out bad. And I ended up having to let a couple of clients go. So we don't want to get into that situation. So use that intuition. And if they're not a fit, it's okay to say that you're just not a fit. And I always try, if somebody's not a fit, to refer them to somebody that I think might be a better fit, so that the
I think it's
skill is supported. Yeah. Amazing. Well, Anna Claire, we're going to start to wrap up. This has been such a wonderful podcast. I have a couple of things I want to do before we do that. First, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. You have built a wonderful business and you're just a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. That was lovely. I really enjoyed it.
Sure. So a couple of things. First, anything we didn't touch on that you feel like might be important to mention for this audience as we kind of wrap up the show?
Yeah, I guess there is one practice that I often like this that goes together. I notice, like, if I'm busy, if I'm too focused on something, it's very difficult for me to attract clients. So I need to have the space. And it's interesting. Sometimes I will stop doing marketing things, and that's when they will come. And also, I also do a lot of like visualization and meditation, where I would see people like coming to me. I will see them, like I do small groups, so I see them in the space and all sitting together. I will visualize the money coming in. So I do a lot of those, and it works, at least for me. But I believe it can work for you too.
I love that. And it definitely works. I do the same thing. And it's your brain can't tell the difference between what's already happened and what might happen. And so if you visualize it, your brain thinks it's already happened, and then it does. And so I love that. I love it. So one other thing I like to do with my guests is get to know you on a more personal level for the audience. And so this is called the lightning round. And so if you want to play, it's just a little game where I'll ask you a series of questions. You say the first thing that comes to your mind. So do you want to play?
Yeah, sure. I'm always up to play.
All right. So plan it or figure it out as you go?
Oh, figure it out as you go.
How about one business boundary that you won't compromise on?
Oh, that's a tough one.
You can pass. If you want to pass.
Business boundary? Yeah, I mean, respect for me is a big one. So anything that would feel disrespectful in the communication, in, keep canceling it, like things like that. Those are, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. How about the best investment you've ever made in your business?
I feel like all the different, like program or coaches that I worked with, I haven't had that many. I am more like, I take time, but then when I choose them, it's always take me to the next level.
I love that. How about one thing that you've said no to this season?
Creating my own podcast. It's too much. I have too much in my plate. One thing at a time.
How about something that you're saying yes to in a big way?
Oh, like next level of summit coming up.
I love it. And then the last question, what does a thriving business mean to you today?
Feeling like at peace and relaxed and really enjoying every day while still working on my business and enjoying my daily life and have money coming in on my account every day.
I love it. So we'll tell everybody where they can find you, Anna Claire. And if you have a free gift for us, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I guess my website is probably the easiest. It's under my name, so anneclairelebihan.com. Same on Instagram will be the same. And if anyone is interested to know more about like spirit babies and how they can communicate with them, I have a spirit baby meditation that they can try. And I believe the links will be below, but they can also find it on my website.
Amazing. And yes, all the links will be in the show notes, so make sure you guys grab that. And thank you so much. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave us with?
No, I think just remember that even if there is one person that needs you, that's important that you step forward. So one step at a time, but take that step.
I love that. Amazing. Well, thank you again. And thank you to everybody who's listening to this episode of Fertility Coaching Mastery. We'll be back here next week. We hope you have a great week and we'll see you then. Bye for now. If this episode resonated with you, make sure you've subscribed so you never miss a new one. And if you found this helpful, I would love for you to leave a review or share it with another practitioner who's ready to step into fertility coaching. You can also download the Fertility Coaching Roadmap in the show notes to start to build your next level of impact. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Because the world needs more supported fertility journeys and more practitioners like you leading the way.